For a week, we've been telling you about White House plans to take back Mosul, that major city in Iraq that is now under the control of ISIS. The Pentagon announced last week there's a major offensive. The Iraqi military would provide the manpower for it, but the U.S. would be orchestrating it, and it was going to take place in April. And a lot of people are saying, should we really be telegraphing our plans in public? Well, now those plans are off.
Yeah, apparently this could get pushed back to the fall now. You remember Senator McCain sent an angry letter to the White House saying, how in the world can we telegraph? I've never in the history of our modern warfare have we just given the plans to the enemy. Well, fear not, Senator McCain, because now we may be trying to, I don't know, put the cloud up, put the veil of exactly what we're going to do, because Rear Admiral John Kirby coming out saying, well, it may still be April. We don't quite know. That hasn't taken off the table completely. But it looks like it could be the fall, because it really comes down to the Iraqis. When they want to do it is when we will do it. When they feel like they're ready to combat ISIS, that's when we'll go after it.
When they feel like they're ready. Really? Because we spent like $500 billion training them, supposedly. So why are we waiting for them?
Over
if it's
10
in
years.
America's interest, let's do it. And if it's not, let's not. But to wait for the Iraqis to decide they feel like doing it
well,
is...
$1 trillion over 10 years. I mean, we spend it over 10 years. Do you think a few more months is going to matter?
Well, it would be a huge blow to ISIS if we were able to reclaim Mosul, because it's essentially the caliphate, arguably, the capital of their caliphate. But they're going to be fighting tooth and nail to the last drop of blood, according to military officials, once the fighting does really get heated up.
So we're not fighting, but we are winning on Twitter. Now, Twitter isn't an actual place. You can't fly there. Twitter has no artillery. But according to the State Department and a very bellicose and frightening, intimidating tweet they sent out, we are winning the Twitter war against ISIS. Can we put their tweet up on the screen?
Yeah, here it is. Think Again DOS is the Twitter handle. Twitter offensive, they say, shuts down thousands of accounts. ISIS trying to promote old propaganda to appear strong amid losses. So the Twitter offensive. Look, on the one hand, look, ISIS has gone and...
We're killing them on Twitter.
And their social media experience, they have really recruited people using social media better than Al-Qaeda has. So on the one hand, yes, we have to combat it there. But this Twitter offensive, I mean, it seems hilarious when we're not actually on the ground beating them.
Yeah, well, he had Pete Hegseth from Concerned Veterans of America on the news channel last night. He says this is not a good plan, a good way to say that we are winning this war. Listen.
Think again, turn away. That's our hashtag strategy against ISIS right now. Let me tell you this. Until you can take a hashtag, load it into a magazine, rack it into an M4, charge it, and put it in the forehead of an ISIS fighter, they can take their hashtags and sit on the sidelines. The State Department's touting this as a new front. Congratulations. Welcome to the information war. I'm glad you finally arrived. The reality is, until ISIS feels the heat on the ground, this hashtag conflict isn't going to do us all that much good.
Ooh.
And this, of course, just comes one day after James Clapper said the world is worse off than ever before. And this, of course, raised a lot of eyebrows as the DNI, as Clapper has served under a number of administrations, and he's often regarded with reverence, I think, in Washington as the Director of National Intelligence. And when he says, which flies in the face of what Secretary of State John Kerry has said, is that we are winning the war against ISIS, are both sides of the administration not talking to one another?
So what is the theme that connects these two stories? Calling off the spring offensive to liberate Mosul from ISIS and our impotent, sad little Twitter war. Weakness. So it wasn't that long ago the United States had some SWAT. We were scary. We put the fear of God into our enemies across the world. Now we seem lame and disorganized, lacking resolve, confused, basically toothless and not a threat. That cannot do anything but incite more aggression from bad people.
Earlier on the show, we had Lieutenant General Richard Newton on the show to talk about this. Take a listen.
My 34 years on active duty, and I just recently retired. I've never seen the international environment so unstable. We need to reassure our allies, we need to reassure the American people that we have the capability, we have the will. I would also send a message to any potential aggressors out there that we still have the most capable fighting force, but we've got to make sure that we put the resources and the effort behind that fighting force in order that we will be able to fight and win our nation's wars, either now or in the future.
All right, much more about that story throughout the show this morning, but now this, the story.